what will happen if the problem has just arisen right now and all hell breaks loose? What are you going to do then? We're going to talk about the steps that you need to take when this crisis takes place. The first point is assess. React without being reactive. You need to make sure that you stop all the communications immediately when you know that you're hit by a crisis. If you say anything which is misleading or incorrect, it may turn out to be in a public backlash or a PR nightmare for your brand. The next thing that you need to do is set up a crisis communication team. Because whenever you're hit by a crisis, you'll be bombarded with questions, and you need to ensure that you reply to the consumers rather than ignoring them. Now let's take a scenario wherein you do not have the solid facts in place. That's where holding statements are going to help you. So the next thing that you need to do is respond to the crisis where it first took place. Did the crisis started on Twitter or Facebook, so you need to go over there and respond to the customers in a timely manner. Let's take a bad example. Now here's a scenario of Dark Horse Espresso. One of the customers raised a question saying that why is there only one electrical outlet wherein 50% of your customers are working on their PCs? But the customer got a very rude reply from the Dark Horse Espresso. So whenever you're rude to a customer, it eventually leads up to customer going to your competitor. So if Dark Horse is rude to one customer, it will eventually lead to all the other customers going to other cafes such as Starbucks or Cafe Coffee Day. The next step is to adapt. Now that you know that you are hit by a crisis, you need to be well versed with the holding statements. Remember the previous point wherein we talked about the importance of holding statements? Because different target audience will have a different kind of reply. For instance, a reply to a stakeholder would drastically differ to a reply to a customer, and same goes for any PR or media houses. Let's take an example of Twitter. Now Twitter has a character limit of 280 only. So on Twitter, if I want to solve an issue or address an issue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a link to an external site. We're responding to the critics, avoid tit for tat, and don't be rude to them. You also need to determine where the focal point of the crisis communication will be. Will it be an FAQ page or a blog or a website? So now you need to make sure that you have one single landing page or a microsite catering to all the doubts, all the problem relating to the crisis that have taken place. This allows you to respond in a timely manner and also prevents misinterpretation of your answers across the portal. Here's a good example for you. JCPenney launched a kettle and they uploaded the picture of the kettle across billboards across the city. Now this is one single problem. The kettle looked like Adolf Hitler. Now this was something that they didn't even thought of. But then Telegraph covered it and showed the similar factors in it. The consumers got pissed off at the brand and they had a PR nightmare. Now what they did was brilliant. They actually went out saying that it was unintentional and we had no idea behind it. If we really wanted to make something, we would have made a lookalike of a snowman rather than Adolf Hitler. Hence, your crisis communication should be adaptive to all kinds of audiences. This brings us to the next point, alerting your customers. So whenever a crisis takes place, everyone who's involved will have tons of questions. Now, while there are people who are trying to give back replies to them, some of them might be a rumor, some of them might be partially true. So you need to ensure that you alert all the parties involved to ensure a positive brand image. Here's how you can share the information in the best way possible. So the first point is hold a press conference. Now you need to ensure that you deliver the message through the right platforms to the right people. So the next step is inform your stakeholders and employees. Because immediately after a crisis takes place, all the stakeholders will be questioned. And until and unless they have the facts right, they won't be able to respond. Even your employees are your spokesperson. So they should be updated about the crisis through email or through internal meetings. So you need to ensure that you are making the announcement across the portals, be it print media, television or digital media, and are ensuring the customers that you're taking effective measures to resolve the problem in a timely manner. Let's take an example of Chipotle. Once the problem arises related to the food, they ensure that they shut down all the operations across the globe and they retrain their staff again on the guidelines of the safety of the food for consumers. So the lesson is you show and tell. In a simple way, what you can really do is you can have a blog or an article on your website which gives the details about the crisis and what are the steps that you have taken to resolve it. Because on social media platforms, you have a limitation and your data or your information will be fragmented. So as you become more popular on social media, the number of queries that are being generated will increase by time. So that's where you will require a tool in place to cater to all the queries in a timely manner. At the same time, you need to ensure that the right person is allocated to the task of resolving the issue till the end. So the mantra through the crisis should be assess, adapt, and alert. Assess the situation, adapt the message to the problem, and alert the public. Now that you have learned how to tackle crisis and what are the steps that you need to take to resolve the crisis when it appears, there are times when the crisis is appearing and you are resolving it on the go, but there are also the times when you need to let go of the crisis that's going on. You do not need to respond to the haters. That sounds confusing, right? Let's take an example over here of Nike. So Nike had a brand ambassador, Colin Kaepernick. He was the quarterback for San Francisco in 49ers. During the preseason's game, he sat on the bench while the national anthem was going on as a sign of protest against police brutality. Eventually, other players joined and sparked a debate countrywide about politics and racism in sports. Kaepernick ended up being unemployed, holding fast to his beliefs. So Nike came out with a slogan, "Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything." This campaign got a lot of backlash from the consumers. People even boycotted Nike products. The stock prices of Nike fell by 30%. While all of this was going on, Nike did not react. Eventually, the crisis died down and the sales and stock prices of Nike increased by 31%. Not just that, even the campaign became really popular in the target group of 18 to 34. So you see, how you react to a crisis completely depends on you.